be honest, of course we want to improve our league standings, but if we had to choose one competition right now, it would be winning the Europa League. Those are the words from our manager, head coach Ruben Amorim, ahead of what is a absolutely massive night at Old Trafford tonight in the Europa League, determining how this season actually pans out and the summer itself. How many conversations have we had on these live shows on Forever United TV talking about what it will be like this summer if Manchester United are actually in the Champions League, or if we're not into the Champions League? What players will actually be in the door? What players would have left Manchester United? All pending, literally, on Manchester United's next few games in the Europa League. 4 games to go. And we need to win all of them pretty much to get ourselves into a position next season to really start climbing that table. Look, United will spend, United will do what they've got to do if we're not in the Champions League. And that realisation will creep in very, very quickly if everything goes wrong tonight. But if we win tonight and we use that momentum going into them last 2 games in the semi-final, which is probably going to be against Bilbao into next month, then this season really could start to turn into something of the beginning of the fresh start that we were all thinking we're going to get with Ruben Amorim when he walked through the door. This, alongside what Ineos have got in place and what this new structure at Manchester United is looking to build, would move along a lot quicker. The players that I'm going to talk about this morning that Manchester United are looking at are all for when Manchester United are in the Champions League, I think, anyway. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go through all of the news that is going around Manchester United, of course, giving you all of your up-to-date information and news and, well, let's just say rumours, speculation, all of that with players that could possibly come into Manchester United, what's happening with players leaving Manchester United. Ruben Amorim has been talking to a few more TV broadcasters as well. He's had a bit of an interview on the side talking about what his expectations are and what people's expectations are of him, his style, his philosophy, what he's going to do or what he's not going to do, more importantly. Like he said there in that little section where he's talking about, of course, we want to be better in the league. We want to be higher up in the league. We want to be competing where everyone else is that is the similar sort of size football club to Manchester United, don't we? Yeah, of course. But he has been brought in, and he has been brought in to do a very, very specific job. And he is not going to change from that. So when answering questions, he's bluntly putting it, the only thing we have to play for this season is the Europa League. Everybody knows about it. This is a massive night tonight at Old Trafford for Manchester United. I want to actually go through the team as well and go into it a little bit as to how he's going to approach the game tonight. I think we already know, to be honest, how he's going to approach it, going off what players we've actually got available. But I think implications and aftermath are bigger in this. And where everyone is looking forward to this game, the atmosphere, the build-up, everything that's on the line for Manchester United tonight, I think everybody's already thinking past what happens either way with the result. And when Manchester United move forward, May gets exciting and we've got something to look forward to. We really have. We get to test out the final stadium destination in Bilbao, because obviously the final's in Bilbao, and it looks like our next opponent, if we win tonight, is going to be Bilbao, because Rangers will lose in Bilbao, definitely. So whichever way you look at that situation, it all makes Manchester United's end of the season a little bit more exciting and something for the fans to actually cling on to and get involved in, I think. I think that's what we need more than anything right now. We cannot have the season ending tonight. It cannot end tonight. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying right now. You could probably feel it yourself. I mean, be honest with me. Get into the chat. Tell me what you feel about this tonight. If United do end up blowing this tonight, what happens to the rest of the season? It will be, and feel, the worst it's ever felt. Even with the crap last season, we had the FA Cup run, going right to the line in that, and obviously having something to play for, and players actually fighting for positions in league games to actually be there on the team sheet competing in the biggest game, which was that final against Manchester City. Obviously, the semi-final as well was good for Manchester United, but I think what we have got without the Europa League is the complete unknown and where nobody wants to be. And I don't think this fan base could handle what is coming its way. Because I just want to break down the actual facts and what actually is going to happen. Obviously, the Premier League is done. We're finished in the Premier League. We've got games that I don't think this squad are capable of getting up for. I've seen it before, and Manchester United are just a different animal when you compare them to other clubs. You would think professionalism would take over and they would just carry on. We've seen on Sunday that they couldn't get themselves up for any sort of fight back against Newcastle. They just down tools, basically, and thought, this team's better than us, and we're just going to lose. That's how it felt. That's how it felt to me. I'm not saying that that's going to be every game, but I'm looking at Bournemouth fighting for something. I'm looking at Brentford. Our record there is shocking. I'm looking at Chelsea fighting for something. Aston Villa fighting for something. And all of them start to worry and concern me. Wolves obviously want to take a piece off Manchester United. They've got a chance of finishing ahead of us for the first time in Premier League history as well, if they can beat us on Saturday. And West Ham finishing ahead of us. I mean, that again on its own, first time for them. It's all of this new for everybody else. All of the new sort of, let's just say, era for everybody else. Like, they're having to deal with what Manchester United are as well. And that, I think, is something for everybody else. But Manchester United, I just don't feel... And you know what? I don't want to use Andre Onana as the example here in all of this, but I just feel like this squad is so disconnected from the actual reality right now of what is going on in the Premier League, the football world. Like, Andre Onana actually coming in with his agent and wanting more money. He doesn't feel like it's right to actually have this 25%. Is that what's on the top of your agenda right now? Is that what you're thinking about? Little things like this, like just the entitlement in some of these players, it just makes me wonder, like, where are you actually at? Like, where are you at in your career right now? What are your goals? And they're clearly not in thinking about getting Manchester United back to the top and getting Manchester United competing again. And that's the concern I've got if we're not in the Europa League. Because I don't know where these players go. I don't know where we go from here past this tonight. I don't see us winning many of the games that are left. We've only got 6 games to go. It will be the dullest end to a Man United season I can ever remember. I can feel it now. Season tickets are supposed to be renewed by a certain date before the season ends. More staff are going to be let go at the end of this month as well. The injury situation, everything that Manchester United really could do without at the moment is all going to be there, on top of not really competing for everything. And it's just going to be a really bad atmosphere and a really bad mood around Manchester United. It is. But look, Ruben, I think this determines everything for him and where he's at as a coach. I think going into the summer with more money to spend and Champions League football, he's got a better opportunity to bring in the right type of players. There is a part of me, and I'm going to ask the chat actually on this right now. I know we've got the Champions League there, which we effectively need, don't we? We always need the Champions League, Manchester United. We know that. And we want to be in the Champions League next season. We want to be watching games against the best teams in Europe, of course. But is there a part of you, and I'm asking this question mainly to the live chat, but do comment if you're catching up later on as well. Is there a part of you that thinks that, you know what, you're just a tiny little bit intrigued as to see if Manchester United will be forced into making the necessary changes if we're not in Europe? And by that I mean we have to sell certain players to survive. We cannot go on with these players. Is there a part of you that thinks if we're in the Champions League, there might not be as much of a rush to get rid of certain players again, and they survive again? Andre Onana gets his 25% back because they're in the Champions League, along with everybody else in that squad. All of a sudden, it's like, are they going to try and then cling on? Is there going to be more of a clamour to actually stay? Whereas if Manchester United are out of the Champions League, and I don't want to be, I just want to make that clear, but I just wanted to gauge where everyone was at and see exactly where everyone's minds were, because you know that there is going to be change if we're not in the Champions League. If we're in the Champions League, is there that concern that this is just going to stay as it was? That's the question I'm asking to everybody in the chat early doors this morning. I'm trying to convince myself that everything is going to go well tonight, and I'll be there at the game as well. So obviously, if you are, make sure you come over and talk to us. Me and Jake are going to be there tonight, so it's going to be a really, really good night atmosphere-wise. I just fear for the aftermath, but I am confident, actually, watching Lyon last week, that United will get this game won and we will be into that semi-final. And then the rest of the season is set up. Even if we don't win the semi-final, at least this takes us through to the end of the season and it's not going to be as drab. Because honestly, I think we can beat everyone on the other side of the draw as well. My biggest concern all the way going along was always Bilbao in this draw. They were my biggest worries going through. And Spurs, Frankfurt, the other teams there, Lazio, Bodo Glimt on the other side of the draw for the Europa League, I'm really not concerned about them whatsoever. I'm not. I just think that Manchester United will have enough. And with, obviously, Joshua Zirkzee is a blow, but Ahmad coming back and Mount being fit, so we can keep him fit and have that till the end of the season. Obviously, Delap will be back for them games as well, another option at the back. I think we have actually got more than anybody else in terms of depth to deal with. And like Ruben has said there, of course, we want to be competing in the Premier League, but the priority now has to be the Europa League. So we know that he's going to rest players out. We know that we are going to have the best team available for us in the Europa League games. And I think that's what we've got to cling on to right now. And we have to back Ruben Amorim in all of this, in what he's doing and how he's managing the situation. Because whichever way you look at the cards that Ruben has been dealt, they're all shit. You can try and argue them and spin them around if you want and say that he's got to do this. He has to start learning how to adapt to the Premier League and change his system and his style. Well, in this interview that he's done, and I'm going to come to the chat on this in a moment, please bear with me. In this interview and this conversation that he's had, I think it was with DAZN actually, talking about this, he's not going to change. He's not going to change. He made it very, very clear when he walked through the door, you were bringing me in, previous coaches had failed, trying to do something that wasn't working. You brought me in, I am going to stick to this, and it isn't going to change. You have to change around me, is what he's saying basically. You have to bring in and get rid of the players that don't fit this system. And you know what? Maybe looking back on this, we'll all look back at this moment and it will be that he has to change. Manchester United cannot be finishing 15th and 14th in the Premier League, surely. Well, maybe this one season was the one season that needed to happen. And I'm trying to manifest some positivity here. You can feel it, can't you? you can see me trying. You can, so please do. Bear with me in the chats. Give the video a like if you're loving the content as well over the last few days as well. Welcome along if you are new to the channel as well. We have over 100 likes already, which is great. Thank you, everybody. And morning to everyone as well in the chat. But I'm trying to manifest the positivity in that this might have needed to happen. And we've all said, but we've just not been brave enough to actually go through it and commit to it, have we? As fans, we don't want to lose games. It's natural. It's in our DNA. I think every single Manchester United fan is the same. Or every football fan, to that matter, is exactly the same. You cannot help yourself but feel like just getting the win is the most important thing. It has to be the be-all and end-all, doesn't it? And we knew that this was coming. We're just finding it hard to deal with, I think. The change was inevitable. The change with the new structure at the club was the perfect time to do it. Let's all just come in on this moment and just let the carnage commence all at one time. And I think that's where we're at right now with it, with Manchester United. And it is a rallying cry, I think, from Ruben Amorim. I think everything around tonight is around just getting through. Andrew Jones with the super chat. Morning, Adam. Today is the day of reckoning. It is indeed, mate. It really is. I know we got a new member in there, but it's gone off my screen. Sorry, I can't mention it. But I'm going to come into the chat on this right now. The aftermath is what I'm talking about. Ruben Amorim saying that Manchester United now, obviously, the most important thing is for the Europa League and for us to get through into the semi-final. We need to be winning this trophy, and I think everybody is quite aware of that. But for a manager now to come out and say, look, we have to forget about the league, essentially, and just concentrate on this, it tells you how far we have fallen, how important this is. We have to score first tonight. If we go a goal down, I seriously worry about the players' mentality. The rebuild depends entirely on us winning the Europa League. Adam, if we blow tonight, and I can see it, the last 6 games are basically training sessions and we will lose all of them. That really sounds like a horrible end to the season, mate. That it does. Tonight reminds me of Coventry City semi-final last season. Just got to get through by any means. That's the important bit. But we are a little bit earlier, obviously, aren't we? It's not the semi-final, it's the quarter-final. There are bigger games to come. The harder game is going to be Bilbao, I think, in this whole tournament. I don't think the final will be as difficult against the Frankfurt or a Lazio, Bodo Glimt or Spurs. Bilbao are probably the best, for me, team in this competition still, although even they failed in that last round, and they were disappointing against Rangers. So there is hope for United. If we get through tonight, and we can start looking and planning ahead to them 2 semi-finals, we have got a great chance of rescuing this season. This is make or break for United tonight. I want United to win. It won't be easy. Nobody believes we can win it, do they? Not a prayer, unfortunately. The confidence levels, as you can tell in the chat, are absolutely rock bottom right now. Wow. Fan base has turned into Tottenham trophy over rebuild. This squad needs to go. Mourinho won Europa and did nothing. It is a different structure ahead right now, though, isn't it? That's what we're looking at. I get what you're saying, Ryan, in that there. But Jose did win the Europa League. We got back into the Champions League, but that was under the old Glinios reign. This is something completely different. And again, I go back to this constantly all of the time and talk about it. But it is the intrigue of knowing how they are going to treat Ruben Amorim, because he is different to every other manager that we've had. And we've got an ownership model now which is going to get behind the coach rather than the players. And that's what happened before under Jose. The players got backed rather than the manager. And Jose got thrown under the bus. The player power of C took over. And players weren't. Obviously, Jose pretty much threw himself under the bus as well. And there is two sides to every story. But the continuous theme at United has been backing the manager, backing the players, always about the players, always about the commercial side. Now that football's top of the agenda, all of a sudden, we are going to see different decisions, surely. We have to. Otherwise, we're just going to be just drifting away into the wilderness. And United won't be relevant anymore. Red Terry says, if the players can't get up for pulling on the United shirts and representing this fan base, then they should get a sponsorship deal with Viagra for F's sake. Super Arch says, we can't expect a better season. We have four experienced players out from the club, and many more injured. We are worse off than last year, just by that. And Martinez and Shaw again injuries, and Shaw injuries. Martinez and Shaw injuries. Look, I think we are worse than what we was last season because we're further down in the league. But I think what we've done is we've accepted that's what we are. And we do need to change it. We've just not gone along with it. I think that's the difference this time. It's not just saying that the FA Cup's enough. This season has a get-out-of-jail card in the Europa League, and that's it. And if we don't win the Europa League, then we will have to deal with the consequences. We're going to suffer as fans for this because I don't think we're going to be competing for a while. I really don't. And I don't know how we get money in to actually reinvest into Manchester United squad for Ruben Amorim unless we sell all of the players. That's that one bit I was talking about, the intrigue side of things in terms of Manchester United actually looking to or needing to sell players or forced to sell players to survive. That's the only way we can definitely get rid of everyone. Maybe that fall is the necessary for Manchester United right now and what needs to happen. Sorry, Adam. Newcastle dominated Liverpool at Wembley, spanked Crystal Palace yesterday, so we are not as bad as you're thinking. I didn't really bring Newcastle into it, mate. I'm talking about the other 13 defeats this season as well, where we've been really poor. I said all along, Bayende should have been in goal for this game against Lyon. He didn't lose the game against Newcastle. I said after the Newcastle game, it was a tight game, but we had them brain fart moments where we just switched off. 4 defenders turning their back to the player advancing to score the second goal in Harvey Barnes. Mazraoui slips. Barnes goes through and scores. And obviously Bayende at the end give the ball away. Like, they didn't create anything or open Manchester United up apart from the mistakes that we made in that game. So I'm not going down that road. Ishmaila, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying right now Manchester United have got that implode moment and the mentality is weak that when we do go behind or we do make that mistake, we cannot recover from it. And we never have been able to all season and going through the past seasons as well. In terms of the news and what's actually going on right now, all of this basically is all around Manchester United winning the Europa League. Obviously, we know about the sort of story around Liam Delap and him actually wanting European football. The story from the Chelsea side is Maresca is pushing on the Liam Delap signing, but they have also just open talks with Victor Gyökeres as well from the Chelsea side. I'm bringing up Chelsea because they're the ones that are competing with us for Delap. So Chelsea have actually contacted Gyökeres as well. So there are other players that they're going for as well. And do you know what? Chelsea in a similar situation. they will probably win the Conference League because the teams in it are crap. They really are. And I think Chelsea are destined to win that competition and be in the Europa League guaranteed. Their place in the league right now pretty much says they're going to be in the Europa League. Is the Europa League enough for Liam Delap? Now, we've also heard that talk around Delap actually wanting European football isn't quite true. Maresca's experience with him at City when he was there is obviously a lure as well. Chelsea are not as keen on that because obviously Maresca was the driving force behind Jadon Sancho, and his judge of character really has been tested with that move, with Sancho going to Chelsea and really stinking the place out. So I don't think Chelsea are going to jump the gun because Maresca wants a player. And obviously players are brought into Chelsea because of the structure that's in place there and the sporting director rather than the manager having a say. We know that and how they run. So that story I'm not too concerned about. I would look at Jason Wilcox more as a lure for the likes of Liam Delap than what Maresca was. Because Jason Wilcox works at that academy level. And obviously, he knows a lot more about him. He was the man that brought him into City. So Jason Wilcox is more of a bargaining chip for Manchester United than Maresca is for Chelsea, I would say, definitely. But that deal, again, I think United are still pushing on that deal. Some stories are trying to tell us that he's preferring Chelsea. They are predominantly Chelsea-biased stories right now. The reality is, and when I read into Ornstein and what Romano has said more, and journalists like this, it is that Manchester United have offered a lot more than what Chelsea have, and the player's contract is going, according to reports, the most important thing. He is happy to go to United or another big Premier League club. It depends what package he's on, because let's be honest, Chelsea have a structured package and he isn't going to be a guaranteed starter. United have a set package and he's going to be a guaranteed starter. That's the difference in that transfer and negotiations there as well. There has been updates on Edison as well for the possible transfer this summer. Now, again, Europa League. Win the Europa League, and Edison, I think, is nailed on for Manchester United because the finances are there. The story from Edison is there hasn't been any concrete talks recently, but Manchester United have already done their negotiations with Atalanta last season. So we know already, and we have that point of contact with Atalanta now. So it's not like nothing has been said and these stories saying there is nothing official on the table. No, at the moment there is no bid. And Atalanta won't even entertain anything until their season is over because they have a lot to fight for still in chasing the Championship and Champions League in Serie A. So the stance from Italy on that is that United are interested. They already know that United are interested in Edison. I do believe Edison is a Champions League signing. That only happens if Manchester United make the Champions League. That, I think, is set in stone right now. And going off all the reports, reading into everything that's been said, I can't see it any other way. I just can't. I don't think that Manchester United will have the funds to go out and buy Edison if we don't get Champions League football. Simple as that. Ruzi, welcome to the Members Club. That was the other membership has popped back out onto my screen right now. Another super chat from Andrew Jones says, I never felt so nervous since my wedding day. Well, hopefully they come through for you tonight and you're a happy man as well, mate. Are you going to the game? Tell me. Anyone who's going to the game, get into the chat and talk to me, everybody. Glenn has just renewed his membership as well. Glenn, you legend, mate. Hope you're doing well, buddy. There is still hope. Antony or De Gea could stop Chelsea. Fiorentina and Real Betis. That would be fun. And Chelsea not winning that would be good. That would be great if that turned out. An old United player. But don't forget, it is interesting for Manchester United as well. I think in terms of Antony and that situation and where we're at, the news came out the other day, which was that United will not get the bonus of just under 600 grand if from Real Betis if Antony didn't meet a certain criteria. He's already hit the criteria because of the amount of games that he's played. He needed to play 15 games with at least half a game played in them 15. I think we're quite safe. He's starting every bleeding game and he's been a star for them. So we don't get that bonus and that was a penalty that they had to pay if obviously Antony didn't play a certain amount of games, but Antony has played them, he's done. But United do get a bonus if Real Betis get into the Champions League, which would be good. And that is so key as well, because that brings Betis to the table as well to bid alongside other clubs that are in for Antony. We spoke last night of the interest in Garnacho for Atletico Madrid. They also are interested in Antony and are ready to bid for Antony. They see the situation and can take advantage of what Betis haven't got. But if Betis get in to the Champions League, they're a bit off it yet, a few points, but they've had some tough games recently they had to get through. A creditable draw with Barcelona away from home is good for them. They're still in the reckoning. Need a good run to finish in the top 4, but if they did, United are quids in guaranteed for Antony. Well, in terms of selling him anyway and getting that price. We're not going to make much money off it because we still have to cover some of his original fee that we paid stupidly to Ajax. Thank you, Edwin. You really did leave us in the shit with that one. But that's the situation with Antony as well. United in the Champions League, more money. United obviously being in a better position then to rid themselves of certain players to save money on them big wages. And I think United's options completely open up. We're not relying on selling players to bring players in. Manchester United, if Betis do well, do have the advantage of them then wanting to buy Antony and having the funds to buy Antony. Well, they want to buy Antony now, but they don't have the funds. We already turned down the loan deal for Antony. Adam, you are so handsome. Thank you for that, Rizwan. Random super chats in there. You get some in the morning, don't you? Rizwan needs directions to his local Specsavers. That's a bit harsh, Tomo, mates. That is a bit harsh, my friend. Come on. I'm not that bad, am I? Come on, I expected that from my hardcore fans. You let me down there, mate. I'm only joking, by the way. Bruno's positioning is going to be absolutely key tonight. Don't know who's going to get the goals. Dallo better get some crosses in tonight. I think I've been chopping and changing my team. I'm going to go through the team a bit later on. After the game. After this. At the back end of all of the other news that I wanted to talk about tonight. Oh my God, I can't get tonight off the mind. This morning, Adam. This morning. Wake up. Anybody struggle sleeping with United? Is it just me? Is it just because my life is United that I struggle sleeping and dealing with what this team brings? Honestly, it runs my bleeding life, this team and this club. I swear to God. I did my ID check the other night. All done. We're in. Set in stone now anyway, which is good. Right. Let's move forward with the other news as well. I did want to get everything out the way possible before we get into the team selection for tonight. Thank you for all the likes, by the way, everybody. Over 200 in the bag, which is great. Right. Christopher Vivel, what has he been up to? Reading a few stories, actually. And again, all depends on the bleeding Europa League. But Manchester United are actually... They are looking into Benjamin Cesco. We know they are. They have an interest in Benjamin Cesco. Now, Vivel, and why I'm talking about Vivel on this one is because obviously he was the man that brought Cesco to the Red Bull group. He was the one that brought him in and has made them a fortune because they are going to cash in on him this season. Now, obviously, Benjamin Cesco is probably the most expensive player on the striker list that Manchester United are looking at right now. And you're all thinking, why? How? We haven't got the money. How can we afford this? Well, like I said last night, when you break down a transfer, when you're looking into the PSR side of things, and this is me going off what Swedish Rumble has said, Kieran Maguire have said in terms of football finance and how it works, and I'm kind of regurgitating the same stuff from last night a little bit here with this one, but Benjamin Cesco is gettable for United this season. And this summer, 80 million euros apparently is his release clause. I don't know if it's going to be that, but like we said before, if you wanted to buy a £100 million player and put him on 200 grand a week wages, Cesco is creeping in there, except I think 200 grand a week would be his wages, maximum, but we're not paying as much. A £100 million player on 200 grand a week wages in PSR, football finance terms, is 20 million. That's what it is. They play 5 installments of 20 million. That's including wages. That, just to give you the ballpark figure, that's what we said last night. Cesco at 80 million. Obviously, that would be a bit less because obviously you're not going to be paying 100 million for Cesco. But just to put that out there in perspective, that's how United afford Cesco. And would United invest that money? He's 21. Yes, they would. And Vivel is at Manchester United. He is the one that knows and has rubber stamped Cesco as the player, as an absolute player. His goals this season, I think he's on around about 25 goal involvements in 40 games, Cesco. So he's not having a bad season. It's not that bad. It's around that mark anyway. But again, Manchester United, when it comes to the striker side of it, and this is how you buy Hugo Ekitike from Frankfurt as well. Now, Frankfurt obviously get Champions League, then Ekitike is going nowhere. And these are the permutations and situations that are developing within these transfers and the rumours within them, is that Ekitike is doable for United, and so is Benjamin Cesco. The only reason that United are actually looking at them players is because of their age. They would invest in a younger striker. Now, Cesco has been going for a few years. He's been on the scene a while, so he has got experience. He's got Champions League experience. He's got Bundesliga experience. He has got international experience. He's only 21, and he's a player that he's developed a lot quicker than others. And this is the type of player that United, if we were in the Champions League, would probably have higher up there. So, again, do not count out the Benjamin Cesco situation, especially if United do win the Europa League. And this is what I'm meaning with this show and everything that could change for Manchester United. Cesco is an actual target because he meets the criteria for what Manchester United wants. Vivel was there on Friday watching him. He has been pictured at the game for RB Leipzig and was there watching on Friday evening. And it was said that he was looking at Benjamin Cesco. There are other players he could probably look at, but obviously he has the connection. Some people would say, obviously, he's just gone back because he knows RB Leipzig. Look, there's no way that Vivel is out just on a jolly at this stage of the season with everything going on, with the recruitment at its highest right now and the importance of it, that he's there just to actually go and say hello to his old friends. He'd be there working, guaranteed. That's what Christopher Vivel is. He's the one that created the situation with Cesco and lots of players, and that's who's working for United right now. So if he is there watching Cesco, then United are interested in him. But it all comes down to what happens. Manchester United will go out and buy Cesco if we're in the Champions League. He's an option for us, and I think we would prefer him over Osimhen. I think we would prefer him over Delap. I think we would go for him over all of the other players we've spoken about, but he is just out of Man United's league right now. But if Vivel goes in and says and speaks to Leipzig, talks to them and says, we are interested, we want this player, here's what the situation is, then you can guarantee United will be in the conversation when the window opens. Guaranteed. It does come down to United actually winning the Europa League, though, sadly, on this one, because the money, I think, honestly, the money in the Champions League is so lucrative now. It's ridiculous. It changes the whole landscape. And I know I keep egging on about that and talking about it, but it really is that important for Man United. Umar with the super chat. A wild take. What do you think about a Kane to United for 50 million? No, he can chase Shearer's record, lead the line, and coach Xerxes and Højlund a bit. We haven't got the 50 million to spend on a player that's going to be there for, 2 seasons? 3 seasons, maybe? I know fitness levels, he's turned the corner, Kane, and you will probably get 3 or 4 seasons out of him. I get that. I do. But United just don't have that spare change. Now, obviously, if you're in the Champions League, United can go out and buy 2 strikers. And that's the difference. That is the difference. Do you know what? I've said this many a times before. I keep on saying it. I don't think Manchester United's outgoing list changes inside if we're in the Champions League. As in, we're still going to try and get rid of players. But I think it's a necessity and an importance. And it goes up in importance if United are not in the Champions League. So I think it happens either way, because I think Ruben has just had enough with these players. And he said in his press conference yesterday, and there was a big giveaway in his press conference yesterday, it's the same. If we're not in the Champions League, obviously, we need to change the team and obviously get better. If we're in the Champions League, we need to change the team to get better, to compete in the Champions League. That's the difference. And whichever way you look at it, there are going to be massive changes this summer. And Ruben Amorim, whether we're in the Champions League or not, is going to make them changes or demand them changes. He isn't going to sit there with his reputation being absolutely dragged through the mud by these inept, prima donna, entitled wannabe Manchester United players. He's not going to sit there and let that happen without being promised change in the summer. Something will happen big this summer. Whether it be a player leaving, Manchester United bringing in a surprise player, even if we're out of the Champions League and we bring in a player we didn't expect because we've not got the opportunity to offer him European football. Yeah, that I think will happen this summer. I knew this super chat was coming this morning. I knew it. Zayn Miase. Look, I'm going to be honest. I've not read it yet. But you all heard my thoughts on Arsenal last night. Zayn says, Rice masterpiece last night. Are we seeing Bruno Rasmus masterpiece tonight? Saka Ballon d'Or. Declan Rice is the best holding midfielder in the world. I said this last night. He just put Bellingham to bed last night for me. And if I had to choose between Bellingham and Rice right now, slightly different players, but I think Rice is a better 8 than what Bellingham could ever wish to be. I honestly do think that Rice is a better player than Bellingham. And I said this last night. And Zayn, take your flowers, enjoy your day, mate. Honestly, the Champions League is there. The team's in it. Oh, you've got a tough job, mate. But you've taken down Real Madrid. Well done. No one thought that was doable. But you embarrassed them last night. I've got to say, Arsenal deserved their plaudits last night. I said it on Football Talks, our other channel, by the way. Go subscribe. Go check out my videos from last night. But Declan Rice, oh my God. Manchester United bought the wrong midfielder. It makes me want to cry when I think about us buying Onana, Højlund and Mount. No disrespect to Mount. And not going for Declan Rice. That was the summer. Oh my God. I always go on about that summer being United's worst one. And it wasn't just for the players that we brought in who were a disaster. It was the ones we missed. We really did. That was the summer when United should have bought Kane, should have bought Rice. And you know what? If we'd have kept De Gea for a season and said, right, look, De Gea needs to go, but let's have one more year and prioritise what United really need. We were going into the Champions League. What did we need? And we went out and wasted that money on Rasmus Højlund, Andre Onana and Mason Mount. Could you have got Harry Kane and Declan Rice in that summer? You'd have been pushing your finances a bit. But let's be honest, what did we actually spend? We spent 50 million on Mason Mount. We spent 47 million on Andre Onana and then 75 million on Rasmus Højlund. So you're not far away from spending 200 million on 2 players. You know, that was the difference. That was the difference. Everything would have changed, and we wouldn't be where we are right now if we'd have actually conducted business properly in that transfer window. That destroyed us. I prefer Liam Delap over Cesco and Osimhen, and luckily the odds are higher for Delap to United, says Liaf. Not many people would say that, mate. Thanks for that comment, buddy. Jonathan David doesn't cost 35 million. His signing bonus is only 8 million. His wages are 8 million per year. That's cheap. No, I think what people did with that one, the 35 million is a bit less than that, but you forgot the, I think it was 10 to 13 million agents fees, which will come with that transfer as well. That's why it bumped up. Might not work out to 35. It was just exaggerated because of the circumstances and it being the transfer window and people needing to sell a story in columns and obviously get clicks. That's why it was done, mates. That's what it was. Culture, spot, morning, and absolutely always the next best thing around the corner. Okay, realists. I'm not sure. But yeah, let's just see what is around the corner for us. Andrew Shaw in the chat says, I never heard that most United fans I've talked to did not want Mount and thought it was a stupid signing. Definitely wanted Rice. Yet Rice would have walked to Manchester United, by the way. I know that for certain. But look, it looks like he made the right choice and went to Arsenal instead. Obviously, people at this point were starting to pick up on how poorly Man United were being run. And the outlook and the prospect of playing for an Arsenal over United looked a bit better. Why do peeps keep going on about buying Kane? We couldn't have got him. Spurs would never have sold him to us, and if they did, it would have been 150 million plus. United could have got Kane if they wanted. I always am in the understanding that Rice was gettable. Kane, we would have really had to have pushed for it, but that would have been the statement of being in the Champions League and going for the right player. I know that Levy would have ripped us to bits, and Kane was probably more unrealistic than Rice, but we definitely could have got a better striker than bleeding Rasmus Højlund. I don't care what anybody says. There were other strikers out there, and we were on our toes. I don't understand how Manchester United didn't act on other strikers and spent that much on bleeding Rasmus Højlund. It's criminal, absolutely criminal. MUFC forever. I will not sign Cesco. He and Højlund both are young, and we are always. What do we always say? We need an experienced striker. If Cesco doesn't work, he will be back here with Adam on talk. We'll be back here with Adam with talk about a striker. Look, I mean, the difference with Benjamin Cesco to Rasmus Højlund is Cesco has been playing a lot longer and has had prolific seasons already. And has hit numbers already. Rasmus Højlund has never had a consistency before he came to Manchester United that warranted 75 million. Never. And I do believe that Cesco needs to go into a more settled side. I do believe that. The point I'm trying to make with Vivel looking at Cesco is that Manchester United are willing to invest in younger players, and Manchester United could afford Benjamin Cesco if we were in the Champions League. That's the point I'm trying to make. So if you didn't think Cesco was the right player, we could still afford an £80 million striker if we were in the Champions League. And there are plenty of other players out there that are worth that money that we could go for. Probably not even that much. I think Benjamin Cesco is the highest priced striker on the market going into the transfer window, actually. Like Ekitike is about 60 million. Obviously, you got Osimhen, who is 62 million, 58 million, in fact, for Gyökeres. So these strikers right now on the market, I mean, Cesco is the highest priced one right now. Any club or any striker that I can think of. So, yeah, I don't see, like, Jonathan David's free. Delap, 30 million. He's the highest priced striker out there right now. So, yeah, I don't see him going for that price. I really don't. I think Leipzig are obviously... I think it's a selling summer for Leipzig. That's the fact that we've got, obviously, Xavi Simons up for sale. That story keeps on doing the rounds. The Daily Mail were talking about Xavi Simons the other day. United definitely want Simons. They just can't afford him. And I'm sure that Simons would be there as well on the priority list for Vivel. You could say that Simons is definitely one that Vivel was watching alongside Cesco as well. And obviously, we could afford Simons in the summer if we wanted. Another young player who is tearing it up right now in the 10 role. Similar price to Cunha, to be honest. And that is something to think about and talk about as well. It's, again, though, priority number one, I think, for Manchester United this summer is, in fact, buying Premier League proven players. I think that's what it is. I do. By the way, get your teams in for tonight. Just tell me your team and how you would go about it. It's the importance of this for Ruben Amorim. A season decider is what this is tonight. Season decider. Like there, Oculus straight away says Xavi Simons is average. See, not everybody agrees. Forest will get found out next season trying to play Champions League and get top 4 spot. Actually, it's not looking good for Forest at the moment. They are dropping away and it's tight right now. They are only 3 points safe in the Champions League places, and that's 5th as well. I think Forest are going to drop out. I don't think they're going to get Champions League football. I think they have just run out of steam, and there are other teams in form. Like Newcastle have knocked them down to 4th. I think City will overtake them as well, and that would leave them then in 5th place with Chelsea and Villa going for them. And Villa now, without Champions League football and players that they've got, I think Villa are the dark horses to sneak in. I believe it will be Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, and City. Oh, I forgot about it. I got that wrong there because I forgot about Arsenal. No. Yeah, so where we're at right now, it's City, Villa, Chelsea, and Forest. Which one of them is going to get the 5th spot? That's what we're looking at, because it's going to be Liverpool, Arsenal. No, I've got it wrong again, Anta. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me tonight? No, so Newcastle are in 3rd right now. Forest are in 4th. City are in 5th. I believe that Forest will drop out. I think it will be the 3 as it is at the top. I think Newcastle will finish 3rd. I think City will get 4th. And I think Aston Villa will get 5th. And Chelsea and Nottingham Forest will miss out. That's my prediction for the top 4 right now anyway. I think that's how it will go about. Some teams... that's right. I'm sorry, I've just been told I said something else as well there. I don't know why. I'm just trying to figure out what I've actually said. Sorry, everyone. I think my head's gone this morning. I'm just in game mode, and I'm just trying. I'm trying to get myself psyched out. I think people are liking it though. We've had. I think we're about to hit the 300 live like mark, which is fantastic. Thank you, everyone, as well. Me and my moments in the morning. I really think United will win tonight. It's the type of stressful situation that the bunch of misfits will get up for. But I hope we lose. I want this team torn apart. Sell, sell, sell. That's that MB Creator has just brought up what I was talking about before, actually, there. And I was waiting for someone to actually come up in the live chat and say something like this. It's like you're torn because you want to win and you're geared towards winning. You can't help. That's programmed in us as football fans, not just United fans, as football fans. We're programmed to want to win. And we cannot change that. But inside us, there is that strong character that's coming out and trying to get out and say, do you know what? They don't deserve to win tonight. And if they do, I'm gutted. But reality tells me that this needed to happen. And these absolute bunch of underperforming... I'm trying to think of another word there. You could think of whatever one you wanted there. I think Babs said it best last season when she went into it. Absolute overhyped, overpaid... obnoxious, everything that these players are, I think, basically is what we're saying. Needed to be absolutely torn apart, like MB says there. They need to be absolutely rinsed, and I think losing the game tonight would definitely trigger that. People telling me not all of the players. No. Honestly, I say this now. I know, and everybody knows the obvious players, the ones that have probably got half a chance of staying at Manchester United. But I still would not lose any sleep if any of them left Manchester United. I would probably be arguing with myself with the likes of Bruno and Ahmad and some of the younger new players coming in. But you know what I mean. Manchester United, I think, need the likes of the younger players coming through. I can't argue with Heaven. I can't argue with Yoro. I can't really ever go at Agate, Delap, or Xerxes at the moment. They have just arrived. Anybody else? Apart from the obvious young academy players coming through? Yeah, no, I'm not bothered. Not bothered. I'm really not. And that includes Bruno Fernandes as well. Like, right now, I would be gutted if Bruno left, obviously, but I wouldn't lose any sleep. Is it the morning or the night? That's the poll right now. I'm being rinsed a little bit for me losing the plot this morning, I think, with that one. But yeah, it depends where you are. Everyone watching around the world, I don't know what time of day it is right now, but obviously I do appreciate everybody and where they're watching from, and obviously please do keep your comments coming in. Do let me know as well. I do like to know where everyone's watching from around the world as well, so drop them into the comment section as well, please. Rayami says, tonight it's going to be Anana, Maguire, Yoro, Dorgu, Dallo, Bruno, Casemiro, Origate in the pivot, Mount Garnacho and Højlund. Pick one. I think there's a chance we could see Agate and Casemiro start tonight and Bruno goes into the 10 ahead of Mount and Garnacho plays and Højlund plays because we haven't got anybody else. That's what I think. I see that happening. Get some other teams in, please, everybody. Ireland, South Africa, Kenya. I love it. People from all over the world watching in on Forever United TV on the morning of the biggest game of the season. I think everybody, obviously, tonight will be watching in as well. Obviously, don't forget, the content tonight will be in and around Old Trafford. Extra content outside of the stadium as well tonight. Obviously, I'm with Jay tonight. So we're going to get some more opinions after the game as well. Hopefully, it doesn't go to extra time. That will destroy me. It will absolutely be soul destroying if we go to extra time. I don't think my heart could take it. Try false 9. Højlund does nothing. Bruno, Mount and Garnacho. Anybody? With Agate and Casemiro in the hole? Is that an option? Could we see that? I think Bruno's our best striker right now, to be honest. At least he shoots. Ranko is in Rotterdam. Sunny Biggin Hill, says Pete. I'd rather play Kaz and Agate with Bruno and Mount further forward. Now, Kaz should be the striker, Domingo, and then you can drop everyone else back. Kaz is the number 9. But yes, you would do a better job, mate. You're dead right, Domingo. I'd rather win tonight and win the Europa and then clear out. You want everything, don't you, Stephen? You greedy man. But I'm only joking. The fear is if we go out, Amorim won't be backed as he should be. I get that. I do. I understand that there is that fear within most of the United fan base that because of the situation, not being in the Champions League, it's going to be scrimping and scraping around for any old deal. And we're not. We're going to be down to like 3rd and 4th choices rather than first choices again. And that's been another big gripe within the Manchester United fan base for many a years now, hasn't it? About Man United's transfer and recruitment structure. It never seems to be our top target. Never. I think there's been a big push from United to say that Delap is our top target as well. And that looks like we're getting our number 1 target when we get him, when really he's the most realistic and affordable. It has been said that Manchester United, and I don't believe this story, but it's come from another journalist over in Italy as well. I'm just going to say this now. Apparently United have offered Osimhen his 325 grand a week wages. That's what they have offered. That's as high as they will go. I don't see that happening, to be honest. I really don't. And that's why I think United can afford Osimhen. I think they would rather go for players that are going to be there longer and are more affordable wage-wise. Osimhen's wages are the only thing stopping him coming to Manchester United. It's up to him. Come on, Adam. Let's be positive. The players may not deserve to win, but they do. But they need to play for us, fans, and the Manchester United badge. Believe. Come on, United. I do believe. I do believe that it won't be a rollover Man United tonight. I think there will be upticks. And yeah. So yeah, what we got to look at in all of this is the fact that Manchester United right now are going to turn up tonight, and I think it's because of everything that's been built up to this game and what it means. They will turn up tonight. They will turn up tonight. 100% United. I think we will win. And yeah. Just to go over everything as well regarding the usual protocol with the Europa League and European games. And yeah, I won't be taking accreditation from Manchester United tonight. I'm going to be in my seat with Jay tonight. I feel like it is better. And I think looking at it right now, I am being forced into not being real when it comes to Manchester United. When I do the accreditation side of things, you feel like you are muted. You feel like you are not actually able to say what you want, or I feel like I can do. I won't be taking accreditation at United, put it that way. I'll be in my seat with Jay next to me tonight. I won't be doing any more inside of the club either. I don't want to let's just say, I don't want to be going into the detail of everything that's happened. Nobody's going to dictate the type of content that I want to put out there on the channel, basically. I'm a fan channel, and I am lucky enough, I think, to have my voice and help fans have their voice, and it's important that I actually am always able to give my honest opinion, and I don't think I can in certain areas on them accreditation visits. So yeah, I won't be taking any more accreditation. I'm just going to be doing exactly what I want to do, and I think that's what everyone appreciates on this channel more than anything else. So yeah, that's how it's going to be going forward. It's going to be me and Jay tonight. We're going to be proper fans tonight and enjoy the game, and I think this is exactly where this channel is going and where it's heading, and I appreciate every single one of you. And it does look from the feedback that we're getting, and it is going to be a case of bringing more people on to the channel, giving more voices, and I think this is why everyone loves what we do here on Forever United TV. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and I think everyone is loving what we're doing right now. So yeah, I am looking forward to sitting there with Jay tonight and going through this game. It's going to be an eye-opener. It really is. And hopefully we can get the win for Jay. It hasn't been exactly brilliant when he's turned up to Old Trafford. I felt a bit sorry for him. The last game I was sat with Jay was that game against Arsenal. last season that we lost, which was horrendous. That was the leaky roof game. So hopefully tonight Jay's going to bring that Irish look to Old Trafford. But again, I've said this before, we are in and about Old Trafford before the game. We are over at Central Bay having a drink before the game as well, a couple of hours before. If everybody who is going to the game wants to come over and say hello, please do come over and see us. We'll be there perched talking through what is going to happen tonight. But yeah, just looking forward to it now. I want to fast forward to the game, I really do. I'll be back later on with the warm-up and everything else and all of the other news heading into the game at Manchester United. So tonight against Lyon. So make sure that you're tuned in later on. Subscribe to Forever United TV. Make sure that you have got your bell notification on so you get notified of all of the news and the videos coming out, and you're fully up to date then. And yeah, big thank you to the mods and the members in the chat for helping out. The new members today as well. Welcome along, everyone. If you are a new subscriber as well, welcome to Forever United TV. Thank you for your input in the chat. Great comments today. Good old chats leading up to it. I feel a lot more settled now. I feel like I've spoken to the important people, the subscribers and the people watching in. I feel like we are one and we're going into this game. We're going to win. I'm ready for my day now. You've put me on the straight and narrow, everybody. Thank you. Hopefully I've done the same for you. Give the video a like on the way out if you're loving the content, everybody. 350. That's not bad. That's not bad. I think everyone is giving the like because we want to win tonight. So let's go. I'll see you all at the game later on. But obviously we've got more content this afternoon as well. I'm going to stop now before I keep on carrying on talking. See you later, everybody.